Hey friend, I'm Danielle Damrell, and I am so grateful that you're listening to the Created Worthy podcast. This show is all about honoring the life stories of women from different ages, beliefs, backgrounds, and experiences. Everyone's got a story, and instead of getting stuck in the trap of unworthiness, this is a safe place for stories to be shared. On this show, we chat about the transformative power of creative processing too, and how we can utilize our God-given creativity with intention to heal, grow, find joy, create simplicity in the midst of our chaotic lives. So pull up a seat at our table because we are all created worthy. Hello. Welcome back to the Created Worthy podcast. This is part 2 of Elisa's story. And if you missed part 1, go back, listen to last week's episode. And if you didn't, buckle up. This is a powerful story of redemption. Thanks for being here.
So if you heard your spouse say this, if you're in a relationship, your spouse has said that, hang on, I'll get there. So that's where I found myself, right? And he's like, no, I'm not going to therapy. I'm fine. You're the problem, right? I was like, no, I've been going to therapy since I was 15. I am not the problem. I have read all the books. I have done all the work. You are. How many of you think that 90% of all our problems is him? Not me. It's him. It's them, not me. I said those things before. Okay. I totally can relate. I understand. We went through the divorce. It was finalized in 2015. Wow. So we were divorced for 3 years. And then someone said, saw us together because he would come over to visit the kids. And sometimes we would go out in dinners and just, be together as a family. Someone saw us together and said, what the heck are you guys doing divorced? The love you guys could have, it is so powerful, and you guys could have the type of love that everyone wants. What are you doing? Get over yourselves and get back together. And this person was my mentor. So I was like, okay, maybe. Let's give it a try. So we started kind of dating and texting back and forth. And it's like, oh, we both have changed. So maybe this could work. Well, we moved back together, and we were together for 4 years. It gets better, guys. Hold on. Well, the patterns came back that got us divorced in the first place, right? Because they always do. The skeletons always come back. If you don't bury them, if you don't really take care of them, they will always come back. And therapy and marriage counseling wasn't working, because it would work for like a month or maybe a week, depending on which triggers we had. And we would go back to disconnection. No, this is my way. No, that's my way. If you don't do it my way, right? Like, my way is the right way. No, my way is the right way. No, this is how you should parent. No, this is how much money you should make. This is how you should treat me. This is what you should say, right? We all have this list of check boxes for each other. And if people check those off, then we're happy. We feel loved. We feel understood. We are happy in our relationships. But what happened with those things is that we take away the agency of people of choosing what to do. We take away their control, and we take away their ability to be who they were born to be and who they want to be. Because in essence, we're telling them, you don't know how to be a husband. I do. You don't know how to be you. I do. You don't know how to be a father. I do. Do it my way. Then you're all going to be happy. We're completely dismissing what they want. So it doesn't work, because it leads to control and wanting to control others, and then frustration when you can't, because we can't even control our toddlers. What makes us think we can control adults? That's impossible. People can change for us, but usually those don't last forever, because people want to do whatever they want. They can only sustain your your expectations for so long before they become resentful.
Right.
So that's where we found ourselves. If you find yourself there, hang on again. There's hope, okay? Because I found we were there, it wasn't working. So we're like, okay, I guess we're a failure. We tried it twice. It's not working. I thought, okay, I'm never going to get married again, because if I can't make it work with the same guy, I can't make it work with anyone. I'm going to ruin my kids. I'm a failure as a woman. I'm a failure as a mom. I'm always going to be broken. I can't heal myself because I keep attracting people that hurt me and people that are dysfunctional. So again, if you can relate with anything I'm saying, know that there is hope, that it's not that way. Because we had that talk, right? Okay, we're done. We're breaking up. Because we had not gotten remarried at that point. So we're done. I was bawling in the car right outside my gym, feeling like a failure, feeling so disappointed in myself, and just thinking about the damage that I was going to cause on my kids for having them go through a second separation, and then stability I was going to put on them. But even then, my sister told me, hey, you should listen to this podcast. My friend is a life coach and you should listen to it. I was like, oh, another podcast. Ugh, right? I don't want to listen to another podcast. What is a life coach going to do that a therapist can't? Right?
Yeah.
But because I wanted to help my sister, I listened to this podcast. FYI, it's Andrea Giles. In case you look her up, she's amazing. And I listened to that podcast, and she talked about the model, which is a tool taught from the life coaching school. And it basically teaches you to be in control of your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, and your results. And I was like, wait a minute. So that means that if I want to be married with this guy, and I want to be happy with this person, and I want to have a happy family, which are all my results, all I need to do is change my actions. Okay, how do I change my actions? I have to change my feelings, because feelings dictate your actions, right? What you feel in your body moves your body or keeps you stuck or inactive, right? So I'm like, okay, so that means I have to change my feelings. Okay, and how do I change my feelings? Well, I need to change my thoughts, because everything starts with your thoughts. How was the internet created? With an idea. And hello, now we have iPhones. We have the internet on the palm of our hands, okay? But it was because someone had an idea, felt, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Let's work on it, acted on it, and eventually got the results after who knows how many failures, right?
Yes.
But that's all it is. It broke it down in such a way that I was like, oh my gosh, so I don't need to be waiting or trying to control my husband so then I can be happy. I can have a happy marriage without waiting for him or making him go to therapy. So here comes the part where I told you guys, wait for it, because yes, it only takes one person to save the relationship. You only need one adult in the room. That's it. That's it. Okay. And proof, because 2 months later.
Is that if you have two willing parties, though, right?
Yes, of course, there needs to be the willingness of the other person, but you have more power than you think. We influence people more than we think. So, and it goes to show you there's a study that was done called the Pygmalion effect, and you can look it up. You can look at on YouTube, the Pygmalion effect. Amazing, because it was a study done on children where kids were given a test, and then the ones that rated the highest were told, they picked the teachers and told the teachers, hey, this kid's rated really high and they're going to be really smart kids. They're very good. Okay, so their rating is awesome. So just so you know. So what happened was that these teachers were giving were acting different, felt different towards those kids. They gave them more opportunities, therefore creating a different environment. So when they were tested the next year, yes, they improved. But guess what? The test was made up. It was a lie. They didn't test them on anything. It was just like a random test. It was all made up. The kids were picked randomly. So really, they were not special. But because that teacher believed in them, she changed herself, changed how she felt, therefore creating a change in their environment and motivating them to change and perform better. This is what I teach to my clients. You change from the inside. And by you changing and doing the inner work, you change your environment, the environment in your home, the environment in your relationship. So then it becomes a flourishing, no, what's the word? Like the ground is more fertile for people, for the other people around you to want to grow into that person that you've been wanting them to be forever. They'll do it on their own. Just because you are giving them that fertile ground to stand on and flourish. That's all you got to do. That's it. But first, you have to do the work. So it only takes one. Obviously, the relationships change based on how you act. And most people will not like it at first because it means they have to change. Their life was easier while you were in that. Okay.
Well,
people
you get
will always fight you. Yes. People like comfort, even if it's painful comfort. People love it. It's like, no, this is my comfort zone. I hate it, but this is comfortable. This is all I know. People don't like unknown. Our brains don't like the unknown. We like familiarity. We like what we are comfortable with. It goes against our brain to go into the unknown. So of course, people are going to fight you. But guess what? After I learned these tools and I started taking care of me, I'm like, what do I want? Okay, I want this. Okay, you make the request, you set up your boundaries, and then you let people do whatever they want. Oh, wait, what? Yes. You let them do what you give them that freedom that as adults they get to have. And then you get to see who you really are in a relationship with. And you get to decide, is this the right person I want to be with? And they get to decide, do I want to be in this relationship with this person? Do I want to change? Do I want to be different to be in this relationship? They get to decide. You give them back their freedom. And trust me, that is how you build resilient, strong, happy marriages and relationships in general. Because I take these principles with my kids. Like I no longer tell them what to do. They're 20 and 13 and my oldest is 23, but still, like I don't tell them what to do. My job as a mom is to remind them of how amazing they are. That's it. It's not so I can tell, so they can check off boxes of who I think they should be. They already came amazing. Our job is to remind them of how amazing they are. And of course, for kids, is setting up boundaries so they can be safe within those boundaries. For our spouses, it is the same thing. It's my job is not to change you. My job is to tell you how amazing you are and how capable you are and let you fix. Yes. And let you fix your own things. That's it.
Wow. That is incredible. I am so encouraged and so inspired. Your story is truly just, honestly, for me, it's a God thing. Because I'm like, this is exactly what I needed to hear, even in my marriage. And I just have flashes of people's names going through my mind right now of like, oh my gosh, like this is the conversation that I just know is going to serve so many people. Because relationships can be. Now I'm not going to just say marriage is hard. Relationships are hard. They can be really
Yes,
hard. And
they can.
traditionally, they are
Hmm.
really hard. But I think what you just shared here is just, it honestly gives us individually, us back our power, as well
Yes.
as giving anyone who are having a relationship back their power and their dignity, which
Hmm.
is the goal. That power
Yes.
struggle is no more when you are just coexisting to actually encourage and build each other up, right? It's not, I'm right, you're wrong. It's like, oh, maybe we're both right in our own ways.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I always tell people, I'm like, if you go in a conversation or in your marriage trying to prove that you're right and they're wrong, you're going into battle and there's going to be a winner and a loser.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a loser and I don't want to be married to a loser. So why
Yeah.
even go there? Right?
Yeah. So you became a life coach. Tell us a little bit now about your business.
Yes. So I became a relationship life coach because it was like, duh, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean, it is, if I lived through everything that I have and endured it, I can help so many people because
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't, it wasn't working. I could never make it work,
Hmm.
but I did. And we are happy. Actually, we resolve problems. We don't fight. We actually talk things through. I mean, how many of you can say, I just had a budget meeting with my husband or talked about money and we ended it with a hug? How
Oh,
many of you can say that? If you
what's
can't,
that is
then
goals.
call me, okay?
Yeah.
Because that's what you want. Or how many of you can say you went through affairs and then came out of it stronger than ever, connected more than ever, and more in love than you could ever imagine? It's possible, but you
Yeah.
have to do the work that most people don't want to do.
Yeah.
To get the relationships we want, we have to do the work, right? If
It
you're
sounds
raising a
like,
child, you have to do the work. If you want to
yes.
have a child that is a valuable human being as an adult, you have to put in the work, right?
Yeah. And it
It's the
sounds
same
like
with any relationship.
a core part of what you do is really getting people to take, sometimes it's called radical responsibility, right?
Yes.
Like you can't
Yes.
take responsibility for someone else's actions, and you can't force someone else to take responsibility for their actions. That's not actually going to help anyone in this situation. What
No.
will help is for you to take responsibility of your own actions. And I'm sure that part of this inner healing and all of that is owning it, right? Like owning
Mhm.
that in the past, I've done this wrong. And I've stripped you of your power by fighting with you and trying to get you to agree with my agenda. But really, I just need to change my agenda,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, and
Is
don't
that
worry. Yeah, I do that to my husband. Even the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, I gave him my manual, my checkbox. And then I was like, oh, shoot. Okay. But remember, that is just my opinion. Okay, honey, I believe in you. You can do whatever you want because I trust
Mm,
you. So guess what? That's just my opinion. And he's like, yeah, that's true. And I was like, yes, like I completely empowered him and validated myself.
yeah.
So that's, yes, that what I work with my clients through is first regaining your power, because I know it feels like you're powerless in the relationship and yet you're doing everything. How is that possible? You're doing everything and doing so much and you still feel powerless and like you have no control. Okay,
Mm,
I get it. Like I help women gain their power back the way it really is meant to be, by doing the inner work and giving yourself that power, because it all comes within. So we do inner child healing, and I recently added breath work because I know how hard it is to try to get the body in on board with the mind. Sometimes some of us have trauma responses that no matter how many affirmations, how many sessions of therapy we do, no matter how much we talk about the problem, it will our body kicks in before we even have a chance. So I incorporated breath work because it is so powerful. It is said that it is 20 years of therapy in just one session. It is immediate and results that you can't deny. Like you feel it immediately. So I incorporated that to help my clients really do use breath work as the deep cleaning, right? Like the cleaning that is like underneath, like all the things. So then when you are conscious, the coaching and all the tools, and you get to decide what to do with it instead of letting your defense mechanism, your flight, fight, or freeze mechanism kick in for you. So it's all about empowering you first, then you get to create the relationship you want with the tools that you want. Really, I can give you my tools, but I love to teach people to empower themselves by tapping into their own wisdom. I'm like, what do you want? What feels right? Most people don't even know what they want. So it is all about empowering them to love themselves and then let that love lead their love life, their marriage, their relationships, their parenting, their business. Because really, your relationships affect everything. If you are not okay with your spouse or with your child, tell me it does not affect you. It affects how you drive. It affects how you spend money. It affects how you do business. It affects how you treat everyone around you if you had a fight with your spouse or with your child. So if you address those relationships where they no longer are a problem or triggers, then it is easier to do everything else you want to do.
Oh
That's
my
where
gosh.
the easy part comes in.
That's incredible. And I think that that's actually a beautiful segue into my, the way that I found the most healing and my favorite tool. It's called creative processing, and creative processing is a term that was revealed to me in 2021 after a really hard season in my own life. But creative processing is simply activating your creative mind to process any certain intention. And so we practice it by using the simple prompt of the purpose of, enter your creative method, however you activate your creative mind, is to process, enter any certain intention. And you mentioned that breath work right now is your primary creative, what I would call creative processing method. So just to show you how that would be combined with creative processing, you would maybe use the prompt of the purpose of breath work is to process my next business goal, or this fight with my husband, or this conversation with my child that I need to have. Very specific intentions. The more specific the intention is, the more clarity that you'll get. So I've realized that you've probably never actually framed that as creative processing per se. The act of creative processing is simply just tapping into your creative mind. So breath work, and then pairing that, like I said, with intention. So when you practice breath work currently, do you already do this, or is this something that you haven't tried before?
So I set an intention before every breathwork session that I do. And when I do it with my clients, I also do that. Like we set an intention. I do have an intention for each breathwork session, but it really doesn't matter. But yeah, like it's good to have that intention setting for what you want to release and for what you want to welcome and replace whatever
And
you let go
receive.
of. Yes. And receive. Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, it's a
I
little
love
bit,
that.
I understand it.
It combines.
Yes.
That's what I think I love about creative processing is it's not like to take over other tools. It's just a way to combine and to frame what you're doing as creative. That's a big part of why this is called created worthy. Part of it is created, like we are innately created worthy. But the other part of it is the root word of creativity. Creativity is such a core part of who we are, whether we see ourselves as creative or not. Everything within us, within any one of us, is creative. I think we were created by a creative God. I think that and we all create in different ways. I think if you're more analytical, maybe you create by creating systems and spreadsheets and processes. And maybe if you're more creative, like a type type B, I always get those confused, but you have more of a creative mind. Maybe you create in journaling or in drawing or painting or cleaning. I think that there's a lot of different ways that we activate our creative mind. And that's where creative processing is different than like just journaling or something like that. Is the word or the creative method can be anything that activates your creativity. So for some people, that's taking a walk on the beach and being able to be like, whew, okay, this walk on the beach, I'm going to just set an intention for this walk so that by the end of it, I have peace, I have clarity, I have whatever I was seeking. It's a tangible result simply by giving yourself something to slow down and think about. And then you can go back to it in however you're creating.
I love it. It reminds me of core values because like for me, again, this is something I have my clients do. Like if you have your core values, then you have that intention. It's your foundation, your anchor. Yes, it is who you are. So then making decisions is so much easier. Doing what you do. And then how you live those core values is unique to you. And then you get to decide what that looks like every day on a day by day. So I love that what you were saying, because that's what I have my clients do. Like today, with the energy and time and health that you have today, how does living your core values look like? And it looks different. But as you do those activities, instead of thinking as how it was before, I have to do this. Now you have the intention. No, I'm doing it because this is how I live my value. Again, empowering you and then building that relationship with yourself, reinforcing that self-trust, self-love, because you're doing things from who you are, from like that creative power, like you said. So I love it. It's just totally reminded me of that.
When we approach creativity and healing in this type of way, we also can take the pressure of the result, the end result of like, I once learned about how intentions are different than goals, right? So we can set tangible goals of like, I want to make $5,000 in a month or something. But when we set an intention, that is actually overarching over the goals, right? So no matter if you have to change or shift your goals, it's not going to crush you because your intention is still set. So as long as you're walking towards and in line with the intention you set, the goal or the end result, the actual external result is not as important because the internal result is more important. And that's the difference between the creative process and creative processing. Is the creative process leads to an external result, but creative processing is much more personal. It leads to an internal result. So it's like often paired with inner child work or with, like I said, breath work. I have a lot of clients that practice breath work and it has been life-changing for them.
Right.
And now for me, creative processing is like meditating. Creative processing is something that is just muscle memory for me. I've built that neural pathway in my mind so that when I feel stuck, I'm able to just set my intention and then walk forward into it so that by the end of whatever I'm doing to activate my creative mind, I actually am physically in my body experiencing peace and clarity and joy and the things that I set my intention on. So yeah, all of that to say, I just love everything that you do. I love your story. I think that what you've shared here today is going to change lives, and you're changing lives in the work that you do every single day with your clients. So thank you so much for being here. Can you tell the listeners where they can find and connect with you?
Yes, I would love to. The best way to reach me and learn more about me and get to listen to my podcast and see my adoption story and hear my adoption story and reunion with my son and all that goodie. You can check me out on Instagram at Elisa Fucci Coaching, ELISA FUCCI Coaching. And you can click the link in there. It'll take you to my link tree where you can check out my next breathwork session, which is coming up. I do one every month that you can attend, and they're virtual. You can get a free consultation. You can download my free guided meditation.
Yes.
You can just check out all the links there.
Yes. And we will also have those links in the show notes. Elisa, thank you so much. And I think I'm saying your name wrong. Elisa.
It's okay. I've been
Elisa.
here 27 years. You were pretty close, so I'll take it. It sounded beautiful when you said it. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go by Elisa. I love it. Yeah, you made it sound beautiful.
I'm sorry.
So
I had a last name that nobody could pronounce for a long time. And so thank you for your grace and for not just constantly correcting me, but I want to get your name right. So Elisa. Oh my gosh. Now I'm not even doing it.
It's okay.
Elisa.
Really, you say it so beautiful. I wouldn't mind changing it. It's spelled the same way. It's so just sweet. Because I speak Spanish, I pronounce it differently. So it's okay. I like it, Elisa.
Well, Elisa, I am so grateful to have spent some time with you here today and for your courage and your vulnerability to share your story. Your spirit is truly glowing. Your voice, and I can't wait for people to see your beautiful face on the YouTube channel. What you are doing, your work matters. The wisdom that you have bestowed on me today and on our listeners is going to change lives. And I just want to encourage you to keep shining and keep loving and keep showing people how to love each other well. You, my friend, are created worthy. Thanks for listening and tuning in to the Created Worthy podcast. I hope that today's show resonated with you. And if it did, can you do me a huge favor and go leave a 5-star review? This helps more listeners find the show, and it expands the reach of the stories and concepts that are shared here. All the links and guest information are in the show notes. And if you're on social media, come hang out with me. You can find the Created Worthy podcast on both Instagram and Facebook, or come follow along with my personal IG page, where I just share more about the real, sometimes messy life of your fellow worthy warrior. Can't wait to talk to you soon, friend. And don't forget, we are all created worthy.